BagFuel, baby.
BagFuel, we live. Whew, feeling good right now. They got the. Oh man, I'm ecstatic.
He's excited about this one. You know, it's hard to get this dude excited to even
Yeah.
talk to people. So you already know what it is.
Because you know we're about to have a high level dialogue, man. That's needed for the culture. That's needed for Black men. That's needed just for humans on a mental space. You know. So I'm Heineken.
I'm the ESSO, Everyone Sees Sounds official Southside Jamaica Queens representative.
Ooh.
And we got Mysonne in the building today. You know what I'm saying?
BX General, we in the building. What's going on, fellas?
Big Bronx, New York City.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So where you want to? You go ahead, Hein. You start.
I
bro.
mean, you're legendary in the streets. You know, you put the work in, but now you're focused on the streets differently, man. In this culture, street cred is everything. People don't want to leave it alone, but what happened to you mentally that you transitioned to a whole different growth in who you are and how you show yourself to the world, man?
I think it was a lot of things. You know, I think definitely incarceration. You know, after you spend 7 years in a maximum facility, and you're surrounded by people that's never gonna get their freedom back. You know, people who have taken people's lives, people who have done all kind of crimes, and who have been actually rehabilitated to where you see them, and they some of the smartest, most humblest individuals in the world, and they start to have conversations with you, and you know, and actually empower you with information that they know they'll never be able to return to society and give to people. You know what I'm saying? So when I sat behind those walls and I had some of these OGs, because I've always been a person who take knowledge. The older dudes always used to talk to me because I sit and listen. I wasn't trying to debate you. I wasn't trying to dispute and refute and go back. I wanted to listen. I always wanted information. So when a lot of those brothers would pull me to the side and just have conversation with me because they seen, you know, either leadership quality or just the ability to soak up information, and they was giving it to me, you know, and they was just basically saying that, you know, a lot of the shit we've been taught in the streets was wrong. You know, we thought something that really wasn't nothing. You know, and I remember that. I remember being a young boy on the corner and the OGs coming home from jail and everybody praising them and they talking about the stories from what they was doing in the yard and how much they had the gators on and how they had their own spot in the yard and they had the phone and they was getting the visits and all this shit and everybody thought that shit was some cool shit. And we was sitting there like, wow. You know, they came home, Diesel and all the girls like, so you literally wanted to be that. And they actually, you know, the oxymoronic thing about it is they made you feel like you wasn't even official if you didn't go to jail.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they was, and that used to be common. That'd be a common conversation that you have. They were like, "Oh man, you ain't been through nothing. Nigga. You ain't never been up north. You ain't never had to go through this. You ain't about it. You ain't real." So that was like some level of right to passage in our community. So when I went there and I realized that shit was a lie, every nigga in there was trying to get out of there, and they was pushing us in there because we had normalized shit that wasn't even normal. We had took some level of stature and some level of credibility for some shit that was the worst place in the world I ever been, and surrounded by a bunch of men. I'm not a gay man. I don't want to see men all day. You know, I got CEOs telling me to take down my drawers whenever they want to, telling me to squat, going through my cell, ripping up shit, this total disarray, emptying out shit, and there's nothing I could do as a man, right? I'm like, how could this be normal? How could I find any level of acceptance or glorification in some shit like this? As a man, do I allow the next generation to have to go through this, right? So when I came home, my mentality was, I'm never gonna my son is not going to jail. There's no way that he's gonna think that this shit is cool. You know, so at that point, I started to transform what I was doing. I started to say, okay, I understand that you're gonna have this level of people, you know, glorifying you because you come from prison, because you've been in the streets, and they're gonna glorify all of this past life. What do you do with that carte blanche that you have? What do you do with that influence that you have? So I said, okay, I know what they're gonna celebrate me for, but while they celebrating this, I'm gonna tell them the real facts of it. You know, I still come from that, and I still, you know, I tell people all the time, and a lot of people don't like it, but most of the principles of manhood I learned from being in the streets. You know, although if you take the criminology part of the principles about a man being held accountable for what he's supposed to do, a man being respectful, a man having honor, those things I learned in the street. My father died when I was 11 years old. So a lot of those things, even though he was telling me at 11, I remember him, I had to get reinforced by people that I respected in the streets. I had to see actually honor be displayed. I had to see respect be displayed. So, you know, I learned a lot of that from the streets. So understanding that that's where I come from, I know what's needed to transform the minds of those people in those same conditions. So when I came home, I said, I'm gonna utilize this influence, and I'm gonna utilize the level of marketing and everything that I have to influence these kids in a different way. The same kids, because the reality of the situation, I'm not trying to save a nigga from the suburbs. I'm not speaking to, we don't have the same reality. So my target market is the young boy that's 13, 14 in the streets, don't got no money, don't got no real father figure, just in the streets, grabbing onto these gangs because they looking to be, you know, accepted and loved by something, you know, and being used. They getting game ran on them instead of somebody actually giving them game. So, you know, that's the people that I'm targeting. So I know how I have to speak in order to influence them. You know, so my mind state was like, nah, I'm not letting these little babies go to jail because they feeling these kids is coming up north with 40 and 50 years at 18 to 17 years old.
Life done.
You know what I'm saying? Life done because they started glorifying and following the path and following niggas that was taught wrong. You know what I'm saying? You can't, and that's the reality of the situation. A lot of these niggas been taught wrong, so they can't teach you no other way than they learned. You know, so when you understand that, and you've been actually given some level of intellect, been given some knowledge and wisdom, and you don't give it back, then you just as guilty as anybody else.
So what was the first steps that you took after coming home to make the transition?
I mean,
Because you was active differently. We saw the transition. You was running around. I don't want to misrepresent what you was doing, but like it didn't look like you was transitioning immediately.
No, I mean, it was a different level of transition, right? So when I came home, my thing was I was in attack mode, right? I was in attack mode. I was attacking everything that was fake, right? It wasn't trying to be unified. It's like you niggas is fake and you niggas is lying and you misleading these kids and you ain't even built like that. And I know you're not built like that. So I'm directly going to attack y'all. I'm putting pressure on all you niggas because you lying. One of the first songs I did was in jail when I was telling the story about what was going on in jail and how the real shit go down. Like all of my thing was defying the myths and pointing out the fake because most of these rappers I know were faking the funk. I know that y'all never really been through that. Because if you've been through the shit that you talking about, you would never be trying to glorify that. There's no way that you be trying to tell somebody that they need to do this if you actually been through it. So that was my mind state.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I immediately attacked it. I wanted to show that I know what gangster is. I know what real is. And you not that. So I'm going to diminish you in order for them to see me. And it was a strategy that I realized I was making more enemies than friends. And even though I didn't really care about it, but it was like, what is my real goal? Right? If I'm really trying to unify and I'm really trying to change, I can't attack everybody that doesn't do what I do. I have to figure out how do I change them because those are the people I want to save, right? Because I really actually want to save the street. So if the kids is following them and I'm beefing with them all the time, I'm not setting no different example, right? I'm not setting no different example. You know, so at first my focus was different. My focus wasn't peace. It was completely diminish what's fake. Because if we get rid of what's fake and it's just a bunch of real niggas, then none of us ain't gonna have no beef. Real niggas gonna get along all the time.
That was your strategy.
That was my strategy. If we got a bunch of fake niggas, and fake niggas in the way of peace. You know, because when you look at, because that's really what it is always the sucker nigga that instigates some shit. He ain't really trying to get into it. He gonna say, yo, such and such said this. What you mean what he said? Now I'm going over there, I'm beefing with you. They get out the way and they go do the same sucker shit. The rat nigga, he gonna tell on a nigga, come home, go back to the streets, tell on somebody else. It's just, they keep the cycle of bullshit going. The weak niggas is the ones who really keep. So even though I know that, I realized that the strategy that I was having, I was finding myself bumping heads all the time in certain places because it was scaring niggas. It was a level of aggression it was scary to somebody that doesn't understand that level of aggression. So you know that when you step in the room and you surrounded by fake niggas and they know that you're gonna make them uncomfortable, they don't want you in that room. So they keep you out of rooms. So as I started to reacclimate myself in society, I said that's not a good strategy, right? Because even though I want to get rid of sucker shit, I need to be in the rooms to be able to get rid of sucker shit, right? So if they don't call me in the rooms and they not comfortable and everybody's scared every time I come around, how am I really accomplishing anything, right? I'm just secluding myself to me and only just us. We already got our shit over here. So if I'm just secluded and I'm preaching to the choir and I'm not able to spread and build anything, then what am I really accomplishing?
Thanks.
You know, so that was the transition stage. When I started, and it took years. It took me damn near 10 years to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna peacefully exist with none of this sucker shit and these cowards and this and that. And I just started saying, all these niggas is that way though. So how do I expect to infiltrate into spaces where all of them, they all playing the same?
They all play the same game.
So I gotta be more strategic. I gotta make y'all niggas comfortable. I can't let y'all play with me though. I'm gonna still be me, but I'm not gonna make you uncomfortable. I'm gonna make you comfortable while I still represent me and shine and do the shit that I'm supposed to do and make people be able to say, yo, you know, I'd rather be like that. I would rather be like that. And I don't gotta do nothing to you, or I don't even have to defame you, but niggas would be like, that's makes more sense to me.
I mean, you spoke about authenticity, right? Fat Joe recently came out. We're not here to kick on Fat Joe's back, but he said 95% of his lyrics weren't real. You see that they're using Young Thug's lyrics in trials. Is it to the point that authenticity is like a detriment to hip hop? Do we overvalue it so much in a culture that a lot of niggas is faking the funk just to sell good music? Because now so many older rappers are like, they're trying to shy away. Like, I mean, they're not in the game anymore, so they can get away with that. But like, I don't know what you think, as y'all two, yeah.
No, but I understand what Fat Joe was saying. When you see, authenticity in itself is not in the art itself, right? So when you rapping and you describing a situation that you might have with your worst enemy, DMX said it all the time. Like, when I'm talking about violence, it's something that I perceive that would happen with my worst enemy, right? So all the time, authenticity is not every word that you said in that rhyme you actually did. No, it's every word that you said in that rhyme niggas know you would do if the situation transpired. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the difference. Like, when you look at Fat Joe could say, I made him, because niggas know when Fat Joe was outside, he was outside. They know if you played with Fat Joe and his team, there was a possibility that anything he said in the rhymes, he might have did.
Happened.
So that's what I'm trying to say. The authenticity is not all the way, every lyric you say is this and that, you know? And we understand that. And that's why we understand that they'll utilize some shit against us in the culture that they don't utilize against no other culture. You've never heard that shit utilized against any other culture.
They don't do it to Johnny
They just
Cash.
don't. They're just not, it's not done. So yeah, authenticity is real. Like, I've been around artists that I know, like, you'll hear somebody say, we shot this and we did this and we did that, we'll do this and that. And you might, I don't think they actually shot and killed all the people that they put in these rhymes that they said. But I think in a situation where it's me against you,
I will do it.
Where, you know, where my livelihood, my family is in jeopardy. If we have to go to war for whatever it is, I think there are certain artists that you understand that they have the mentality that they're willing to go to war. So the lyrics might not be exact, but there is authenticity in the lyrics. You can just sense when you're around this person, this is who he is. You know what I'm saying? And people need to, and that's what music is for me. You know, a lot of people say, I can separate the lyrics from the individual. I gotta be able to look at you and at least believe that in the situation you might do something you're talking about. Right? You know what I'm saying? You can't be a lover boy, and I'm like, damn, I can't even see you talking to a girl. I ain't never seen you had a conversation with a girl before, but every song you talking about this, like, it gotta fit. So that's what I think authenticity means, and there's a lot of people who got away with playing the role of something, right? And what happens
is entertainment, right?
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment.
Yeah.
I think people forget about that too. People want to be entertained by somebody's personality and their likeness and their swag or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what I think it's each individual has to pick what he or she wants from the music, right? Me, I want to be able to relate to the person that I'm listening to, right? I want to feel like that person presents a mood, a theme or something, and I look at that person, I actually get that from them. It's just like with an actor, right? Even though you don't know who Denzel is, but when you watching Denzel, you like, damn, that nigga was Malcolm X right there. I never been around, but I feel like I know Denzel based off the movies he had. Like, right? When I listen
That's
to Pop,
insane because he plays so many different roles.
but it doesn't, even though he plays different roles, it's still him. There's
still
this
Denzel.
level of him that's always in every, I don't give a fuck what role he plays. There's this level of Denzel that always, he never picks a character that's just so far from who he is. He's just never done that, right? And even if he's acting, he knows that there's something about one level of him or something in him that can make him bring this character
to life.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what a good actor is. A good actor knows the roles they pick. You ain't gonna pick some role and be like, damn, I don't even know why he played this role. That shit don't even fit him or nothing. Like, I've seen actors do that, but he didn't really fit this role.
Do you feel like more actors are more intellectual and cerebral than these rappers that are out right now?
Of course, because there's a level of, study, qualifications that got to come with being an actor that you don't have to do being an artist. Like, I mean, right now, it's just entertainment. It's not skill, right? So you can be the most entertaining and the less skilled. We got entertaining artists out now that because people are intrigued by the ambiance or the aura of the individual, or they just so negative that you watch them and you can't believe. Like, nigga get 5 million. I've watched niggas on the internet probably about 5 times in a row because I couldn't believe that niggas was actually listening to it. You know what I'm saying? No, for real. I've literally literally watched over and over and be like, yo, niggas actually listen to this shit? What is he saying? Yeah. And I know, and the nigga got 5 or 10 million views, and I know how. Because at least a million niggas like me that's saying the same thing. Like, for real? Like, do y'all really listen to this?
Let me watch this shit
let me
again.
see this shit. Maybe I'm missing something. I got it. And then what happens is that transitions into that person being entertaining, right? And then what happens is once you trick the average person into thinking that this person is hot, now he in the algorithm. So every time you put a video out, I'm gonna get 1 million views because he in the algorithm. Oh, I'm gonna watch him. This is the new hot thing.
I'm gonna put this shit up. Yeah,
let me make sure I'm on point. I'm in the know because this is the person that's hot. So I need to be paying attention. So that's what they trick the algorithm with that. They're not gonna give you some shit, especially that they can't control, that's awakening the minds. Like,
Never.
It just does not happen. They do not let certain shit within the algorithm, So when you look at, like you said, when you look at actors and then you look at rappers, these niggas ain't even rapping. They ain't rapping to the beat no more. They got to say, if you sound like you angry, like the shit, for real, a lot of this music, and this shit is demonic. The new music, the new drill shit that they having, the niggas got the same pitches. Raw, I'm running for you. I'll fuck you, I'm gonna stab you, I'll drill you, and it's the same growl. The beat in the back, the shit is invoking an emotion of anger in you. So what else do you think these kids gonna do?
Was NWA doing the same thing when they was doing their gangster rap and all that?
But I don't think so, because even when you listen to NWA and gangster rap, it was sonically sound good, right? The content of it was gangster,
but it was sonic. It was more music.
It was sonically melodic. Like when you listen to the beat, it did. Like I tell you all the times, like if you listen to some of the words of the shit, and you was just in that mode and you was hot, you might say, yo, fuck. When I'm about to beef with a nigga, I'm gonna play my song that gets me hyped up, and I might play NWA. Fuck that, we gonna rap on. But I wouldn't immediately hear that shit and make me just angry. Like niggas could be chilling and just play NWA on the corner and just be chilling,
It's a vibe.
and vibe in a party, getting chicks and all that. You can't vibe and get chicks to drill music. It just ain't that shit. They start moving. It just don't. It don't even fit. It don't even fit. It just don't. It gives you a wild feeling that it's like, yo, this shit is crazy. I'm telling you, it's literally, it's like, it puts you in a dangerous. If you put that shit with liquor and drugs.
They said Tupac was doing the same thing.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
they said Tupac when niggas getting high. Pac, niggas was claiming they was riding out to Pac, killing niggas.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm not. Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
You was riding out to Pac killing niggas because the ambiance of Tupac, right? It wasn't. You wasn't chilling and just heard Pac and was like, "Fuck that! I'm going to ride and kill a nigga, and I ain't got no beef with a nigga." Right? When you was listening to Pac, these niggas is created. 13 and 14-year-olds, 12 and 13-year-olds got beef to where they want to kill each other. Where was that at? In New York City, in the Bronx, it's 12 and these niggas is on the internet at 12 and 13 talking about how they gonna kill you. They done already shot a nigga. They done did this. They done killed one. Your man is already
godly already.
That wasn't shit that we was doing at 12 and 13. We was fist fighting a nigga. We run up. We might get to a fist fight. We laugh. We run, but we wasn't. Pac didn't have niggas saying we gonna shoot and kill him. We might have said that about the police.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I'm saying? We might have said, fuck that, the police come in, yo, we run. But it was just a different feel. And I'm not saying, it was definitely, violence has always been in hip hop. I will not take that away from there. Has always been violent shit. I used to listen to fucking Cool G rap and get me amped up. I used to listen to Onyx.
DMX.
DMX, but the thing is, even though DMX, but there was a balance with X, bro. There was a balance in music. You understand what I'm saying?
It was the God part.
This shit is all, yo, we was never calling ourselves demons and savages.
Yes. Yeah.
We just wasn't.
But the guys you're naming, what I'm noticing, right, a lot of them were mid-20s, 25, 27, 28. We have exceptions like Nas, but a lot of these kids you're naming is 15, 16,
that
17.
That is crazy.
So we just sitting here recognizing that. What would DMX have been at 16? What would his message been versus when he was 28?
But the thing is, DMX told me straight up that the music that he put out at 28 was the music he wrote when he was 16. And the same music. He said, nigga, I wrote this music in 88. All these songs I told niggas was gonna play. Literally, he sat me in this hotel room and said, I wrote all these songs in 88. Every song right now that's triple and double platinum, I wrote in 88.
Wow, that's
crazy.
Years.
I never heard that shit.
Never heard that much.
Literally told me that. He did. X was a product
of his environment.
Look
Think about that,
X went through.
So
though.
what these bitches want from a nigga, he wrote that pretty much in 88.
He might have wrote that later on.
No, he wrote that later. He wrote that a little later.
But he wrote that later on.
One of the things too, you said it took 10 years for you to figure out how to, really work your angle into this game. How are you surviving financially? And it's not to get into the understanding of your money, but we don't know you to have a job. We know you as Mysonne, the rapper, and we see a lot of successful rappers having money issues. How do you survive with the spotlight on you?
Well, I write books. I got curriculums. I got programs in schools. I have an organization called Until Freedom where we deal with at-risk youth. We deal with civil rights issues. We deal with police brutality. So there's so many different ways in which I create revenue. I literally go to school and I've taught teachers and principals actually how to keep the attention of young black kids because they don't even understand. That's what it's an art form because we dropping out at the highest rates. And they saying, why can't we capture minds like yours or Jay's and 50? Why all of them was dropping out of school as teenagers? But now they controlling business worlds. These are some of the most brilliant minds in our culture, but we couldn't keep them in school. And I had to explain to them because the American school system is not geared toward the young black man. It doesn't fit the attributes of the young black man. We don't sit down in a chair and just look at a board and write. That's not how we learn. My 10-year-old son, he was 10 at the time, and I was taking him to school, and he just started crying. And he was like, I don't want to go to school. And I was like, why you don't want to, what's wrong with school? He's like, because it stifles my learning. All they do is take tests and all of this, and we sit down. I want to be in the world and learn off the world. Like
You said that at 10?
Said that at 10. I'm gonna show, when we finish the video, I'm gonna show you the video because I
No,
got it on
I'm
my
not
phone. I
believing.
couldn't believe he said this shit to me. And he was crying when he was saying it. And I felt the same way at his age. You know, I was one of the smartest kids in my class, and I used to get finished fast and want to talk. And my teacher used to get so mad at me. Sit down.
Mm-hmm.
And in 3rd grade, the man told me that I was gonna either be dead or in jail by the time I was 21 years old. Literally told me, white man, grabbed me by my neck. He said, fucking little nigga, you'll be dead by you 21. And I never forget him saying that. Man sent me to a psychiatrist. He had me sitting in a psychiatrist 2 times a week, just playing chess with the psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist said, this boy is damn near brilliant. Ain't nothing wrong with him. You know, but they had already pegged.
They was threatened by your brilliance.
It was. And I never understood. I never understood that until I started getting older and like, yo, these people, this is what they do to us. You know, and then the school system, like, it's not geared toward how we learn. That's one thing that Kanye was saying when he was talking to Trump, and he's like, we need to build schools that they have where you teach the kids with sports, where you teach them with this, where they learn all the same lessons, but you teach them based on the shit that they are into.
They like.
You know what I'm saying? That's what black people are into.
That moves them.
That moves them. We don't learn like that.
Everybody can be a teacher, but can you really be an educator? Because we had an episode where we recorded, and I told them I finished all my classes, but I just couldn't figure out math. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until one teacher in 10 minutes helped me solve every issue I had for 3.5 years. What every other teacher couldn't do. So as I'm listening, it's drawing back. Like, it's just specific people can get. Whereas like Esso, he's a math genius. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't have went through the same issues that I do, but you got to be able to identify that.
I used to, listen to me, I was one of the top reading comprehension, and I was good at math, but I wasn't excellent at math at first, right? I just wasn't excellent at math. I was really good at it because I was analytical, and I was one of the people that would lock himself in his room until he figured out shit. Like, nah, you're not gonna know something I don't know. So you give me a problem and I'm gonna sit in the room and just be like, nah, I'm gonna figure this shit out. And I would look at that page and I figured it out, but I used to figure it out, but it was hard. It didn't just come to me like it was. And then I had one teacher that gave me a method that made math so much easier for me. Right? It made math so much easier for me. And I was like, okay, boom. And I started applying that shit to this and that and this and that. My son is a fucking math genius.
It always
At 12 years old, he can sit there and give you a math problem. The thing is, he don't like to do the work now. They got the shit where you got to sit there and
all the work.
That nigga come up with the answer in 5 minutes.
Skip all of that.
And they be like, well, how did you get to the answer?
And then you got to go check your work
Well, I did this
again.
and that. And they be like, that's not the way you're supposed to. You're supposed to get the, nah. Math is about getting to the problem. You want me to get to the problem the way that you want me to.
Like ballet.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's what it is, especially with us as black men. We just learn differently. And you can't teach somebody the way you want to teach them. You got to teach them the way they actually learn.
Everybody learns
different. So if you sitting there with one method of teaching and it ain't getting to everybody, then you got to look at that person and figure out how do you learn. That's what being a real teacher is. It's not just being, you know some information and you give it and you put it on the board and tell me to figure it out. No, it's all right. What do you think about what you see? Ask me certain questions. All right, so what would you do with this situation? And then you start learning, okay, this person learns this way. You know, this person learns this one. This one needs to be challenged. This one needs you to walk them through it. This one needs explanation. Like, it's certain things that you have to know as you teach, you know, to be a good teacher.
Understood.
How are you balancing saving the streets and saving your own family?
It's a process. You know, it's a big process because, you know, when you have kids and you have a family and you got to be on call in the streets, you know, you got to work on Breonna Taylor's case, or you got to work on this and you got to fly out. It's a process and it takes strength. You know, I often look at Malcolm, like when you look at the autobiographies of Malcolm and Martin, you see that it was stress in the family based on that. And it takes strength and it takes people understanding, you know, but it takes being intentional, especially with your kids. You have to be intentional about carving out time and trying, whenever you have opportunities and whenever you have downtime and just pouring into these kids and giving them information and listening, trying to find out. It's not easy at all. I tell you that it's not easy. It's not easy at all, and that's why it ain't for the faint at heart. It ain't for everybody.
Does your family try to get you to dial back your activism? And the reason why, you're in your prime and you're gaining leverage, you're gaining a different level of voice in the political world. And you just mentioned Malcolm, Martin, all these dudes, they wiped them out. Do they say like, yo, I could lose my pops over here because he's gonna fight for Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, et cetera, et cetera?
I mean, sometimes, there's always that, yo, don't go there. I don't need you to be out there. I just seen them rioting. I know you probably gonna go, don't do this. And and then it's always that what I'm telling them, this is my calling. This is what I've been anointed and called to do. So I don't move in fear. I can't move in fear. Because if I move in fear, then I can't even do what I was supposed to do. So I move on God's, on God's words. I move on God's energy. When I feel like I'm compelled to do something, then I do it. I also understand that my mission and my purpose is not my family's mission or purpose, right? So they're not gonna always understand. My friends and family not gonna always understand what it is I say and what it is. It's times that my whole team be like, I don't know why you said this or why you did this, because that's what I felt. That's how I feel, And that's one thing about having a strong team is that everybody understands that each one of us have our own purpose, and we just bringing those purposes together, to accomplish the goal of actual having, freedom, justice, and equity. My path, my plight, the things that I'm passionate, like I'm really passionate about stopping these kids from killing each other. Like I'm passionate about that. I've lost too many of my friends to the streets. I watch and it be over bullshit. When you're sitting in the cell and you hearing these 50 and 60-year-old men have these conversations about how 5 minutes of not thinking cost them the rest of their life, and you understanding that shit happens every day in our communities, you lose your life over some shit that you're not even gonna be mad at in 1 week. You take somebody's life over some shit that you don't even matter to you no more. You know what I'm saying? And when you start really dialing that shit back, then you start understanding that we gotta really retrain our mind states. We gotta really take back our communities. We need strong men in our communities. We need men of principle, men of honor. We need to redefine what gangster is, what real is. The gangsters are supposed to make sure that the community is safe. When you gangster, nobody gonna come to your block and harm nobody on your block. When you gangster, the old lady's supposed to feel safe knowing that you outside. You're supposed to be making sure their bags get upstairs. Like, that's what men is supposed to be. And that's why I wrote my newest book, the 10 Principles of Manhood, and Raising Kings, is because I know that a lot of these kids don't even know what manhood is. They think manhood is I'm tougher than you, I can shoot you, I can fight you, and this and that. That shit ain't manhood. It's about respectability. It's about accountability. It's about integrity. It's about morals. It's about certain shit that nobody is teaching them. So if we don't teach them and we allow, the internet to raise our babies, we allow the radio to raise our babies, and we can't be mad because that's what they getting it from. So I don't blame the kids. A lot of people are like, oh, these kids are just, I can't blame no kids. I can't. These ain't demon kids. Somebody told them that dumb shit. I've watched, we can't act like Malcolm X wasn't Detroit Red. You know what I'm saying? Like, we understand it. There's a process of transitioning. I know if somebody would have gave up on me, like a lot of people was giving up on these kids, I wouldn't be where I am. So I can't never give up on these babies, man. I can't never give up on a 21, a 19, 22-year-old and be like, oh, he old enough to, the full frontal lobe of a 21 to 18-year-old is not even developed. It's not even full. So I know they don't even know what's going on. So if I'm not hands-on, if I'm not intentional, if we as men who know better are not intentional going into our communities, and dealing with the people that's high risk. It's easy to deal with the people that got it all right. Yeah, such and such made it out the projects, but why they can't? These are the exception, not the rule. You understand what I'm saying? If we look at how many people make it out the projects and opposed to how many don't, then we gotta say to ourselves, something is wrong. If only 3 or 4 of them if only 3 or 4 of the people that grew up with me actually made it out the hood, and everybody else either died or went to jail, something is wrong. We ain't just stupid. We ain't just all dumb. The conditions in our communities have made it so that's what the reality is supposed to be. You know, I say all the time, poverty is violence. Anywhere that you see poverty, you see violence. That's just a known fact. So if you eliminate poverty, then you're gonna eliminate violence, right? So we can't keep talking about, I'm gonna leave the hood, I'm just getting the fuck out. Nah, the white people don't leave the hood. They don't leave where they from.
They're moving back.
They moving back. They flourish in the communities, nigga. Why don't we go back to the communities we have and build them shits up? Why don't we go back to this? I don't wanna eat and be rich and be comfortable with niggas that never starved with me. I want the dude next door that when we was going to school, we had holes in our sneakers to be able to be next door when I got a 4-bedroom house and a pool in the back. I want his house to be right next door, right? I want even the projects, nigga, rebuild the projects, build them shits up. All right, let's start building stores in our communities. Let's start get $1, get $5 or $10 from everybody in the projects every month, and we're gonna put this toward us owning some shit, and we got some equity in something. Like let's start really doing shit, because everybody else is doing shit in our communities that we ain't doing. Everybody else got shit in our community. Me and my man Smart, we just had a live yesterday and we was talking about that shit. Everybody else is buying bodegas in our communities. They open up this stop, they open up this. It don't even cost that much to get that, but nobody ain't going back and saying, yo, you know what? We gonna buy back our block. We gonna buy back our block. All of these motherfucking rappers and all that, y'all niggas got millions of dollars, y'all in the club throwing hundreds of thousands of this and that. Y'all niggas is from the Bronx, Harlem, Queens, and none of that, and y'all don't got no blocks in Harlem, but you throwing 100,000 and 50,000 a night. You know what 100,000 and 50,000 could do in your own community, where you came from, where you struggled at? It's just that we not focused on the right things. And then we live in a time where so much shit is going on and you need a voice. You need to be able to say shit. Black people can't even talk, man. They can't even talk. I'm being honest.
That's true.
The average black nigga right now is mad about what's going on in Palestine. They can't say a word because he got a job, and if he say something, they gonna fire him.
Yo.
Average nigga. Political, all of this. These niggas is, they caught. They can't even speak up as men to say, yo, I don't really think this is okay what's happening. Because somebody is funding them that don't want them to say that. And this is the shit that we deal with every day. We don't even have the fucking strength or the testicular fortitude, because we don't have nothing backing us.
Nothing.
I say niggas all the time.
No protection.
You don't got no protection. You don't got no.
We out here naked.
Naked.
Bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was telling niggas about Kanye. I'm like, Kanye said all that, but you had $1 billion and you ain't create nothing to where the black people can go. You saying that these people took all this from you and they did this and this and that and this and that, but you got $1 billion and you ain't built one factory where all the black people can go and build for you. The next generation, to where you could control that shit and they can't do nothing to you. You got $1 billion, but you ain't create one record label and one distribution company to where you can get the music and the shit can get to where you go. You had $1 billion and you ain't say, yo, Jay, we should have kept title ourselves and have our own shit because all the rest of these streaming service is jerking our people. Nah. We don't do that. We don't have nothing. So we forced to deal with the crumbs and work in somebody else's community.
And
try to build them up, and then hopefully you get a
they
job.
They give us our shit.
Shit is corny,
I help build you up, and hopefully you recognize
this shit
me
is corny.
and you give me my shit.
Shit is corny, man. This shit is annoying. Watching niggas squirm. Watching niggas not even be men. I sit there and watch men that I once respected do shit.
That's crazy.
That's crazy because they know they need a bag.
Yeah.
That bag.
Yeah.
Shit is corny, bro.
I mean, people need money to survive.
It's but it's fucked up. It's fucked up that we don't. But the thing is, niggas do need money to survive. It's fucked up that we have to be like that because we got too many opportunities. We got too many people in position to be able to create some shit to where we should be able to survive and still be men and be honorable and be able to speak our minds about shit that we actually feel. We should be able to do that. We got enough black power and black influence and black money and black dollars to create shit that puts the black interest first. like everybody else have their interests.
Everybody, every other race
Every other
got
just-
every other race
Think
got their
about
shit
this.
in place.
Because I live in Brooklyn. I've lived in Brooklyn for so long. They have all them Jewish neighborhoods, and people don't know. Police don't go in there.
They don't.
Never.
They don't.
Like, if you give a ticket
I tell
out, it's
niggas
a problem.
Yeah, I tell niggas all the time.
Yo.
Police don't stop crime. Because police don't stop crime. Because where the less crime is at, there's no police there. So it's not like the police, you need the police to stop crime. You know why there's no crime in certain neighborhoods? Because they ain't poor.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you just said no poverty.
They ain't poor, nigga. They ain't the police. We need the police. Nigga, no, fuck that. The billions of dollars that you're giving the police, give to the community so we can have more community centers, that the kids can have jobs. These niggas on the corner hustling, selling weed, making $50 a day. And they beefing with each other over the weed sales. And now they shooting each other. Nigga, give them a job where they can make $200. Give them a job where they can make $250. You won't see no nigga on no corner beefing.
Never.
Come on, but that's
money.
not the goal. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say. That ain't even no money. That ain't even nothing. You giving these niggas billions of dollars to come in our communities and kill us at the sign because a nigga arguing with his wife and you gonna shoot him in the back.
Mm-hmm.
You billions of dollars.
No.
What happened with y'all? Officer Friendly come like, what's going on with you guys? Everything's all right? Let's calm down. All right, y'all. Come on, John, let's take a walk. Me and you gonna take a walk.
Exactly.
John.
I don't want to arrest nobody.
I don't
want to do no paperwork.
Jackie, we'll be right back. We'll be right back.
I think the Bronx has more DTs than any other borough.
They do. The Bronx is the poorest borough in the city. It's the poorest borough. So that's why. That's why there's more crime. There's more crime because it's the poorest borough. Yes. So and they know that. Which
is funny. Y'all got one of the top 3 richest neighborhoods, Riverdale.
Exactly. But
but that's outside the hood.
Exactly.
Hey, you got to go across the bridge.
Yep.
How did you develop your partnership with Tamika Mallory?
So, I had met Tamika years ago at an event that her and my sister Mita was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Mita she's been in the industry for years and she does a lot of
Wonder Woman Mita?
Yep. So Mita did a Christmas event where we was doing toy giveaway in Harlem. And we just started building. It was a bunch of us giving out toys. We started building and we was talking about what we do. And I told her I was an artist, what up? She looked up some of my music. And I was doing personal training at that time as well. So she was like, I need a trainer. Then I started letting her hear my music. And I did this song for Trayvon Martin. And she was working directly with Trayvon's mother. She was like, yo, this song is crazy. I did a video and everything. It's called What Do I Say to My Sons? It was based off the verdict that happened with Trayvon Martin. And I was recording for a web series. And we was in Florida and we was recording the day that they was given the verdict for George Zimmerman. And I just automatically assumed he was gonna get found guilty. This shit.
I told everybody he was gonna be not guilty. I lived in that town. That's how I knew.
I didn't know.
I thought it was hands down.
That's what I'm saying.
I
thought it was a slam dunk. Throw it to the rim.
Let me tell you something.
Boom.
Yo, in that town, when the cops come to you, they don't talk like New York cops. They be like, "You lost, boy."
Wow.
And this
That's
was
crazy.
You understand? So I was like, "Oh, that happened in Sanford. I live 20 minutes from there. He's not guilty." They're like, "Oh, you trolling and everything." I said, "You don't know that town."
Yeah, and I didn't either. So I was in my room in the hotel, and when the verdict came, that shit shook me. I had my son was 11. I just had my other son had just turned 2 years old. So I was really confused. What the fuck is going on? What do I say to my son in regards to this shit? How do I explain to him what the fuck just happened here? So I wrote this shit. I'm crying. I wrote this. We shot the video the next day, and she let Sabrina Fulton heard it, and she loved it.
Salute to Sabrina.
And she was just like, "Yo, you can do a lot of work in the jail." She introduced me to another one of my colleagues and sisters now, Carmen Perez, who was running Harry Belafonte's organization, the Gathering for Justice, and I started going to detention centers with her, dealing with the at-risk youth inmates, and then that's how we
it evolved to a partnership. Because I always felt like when I watched her and I saw that y'all had a partnership, I always feel like it's always good for a man to be backing up a woman and a woman to be backing up a man, because there's certain walls that we can't break down, especially when we black. You feel what I'm saying? So they need to know that the woman has some backbone with her, somebody that ain't gonna pop no
Strength,
shit.
muscle.
And then the man has somebody in the back watching his back and strategizing, whispering in his ear about what's going
It's
on.
strategic. That's why I said you got to have a strong team. You got to have a team where each one of the people on our team can lead at any given time. You know, and we don't have a problem with letting someone else lead in a certain space. Our organization, Until Freedom, is me, Tamika, Linda, and Angelo, and each one of us does our own thing. Angelo is an attorney, a brilliant attorney. Linda's Palestinian American. She's one of the biggest leaders in the Palestinian American space. You know what I'm saying? Tamika is who she is, you know, one of the biggest civil rights leaders in this time. And I just do what I do. You know, and we all come together and form like Voltron. And it's good when, you know, you can fall back. You know, you don't always have to be in the front. I don't need to be in the front. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind being in the back because I know that I'm following people that's actually going somewhere, that's actually able to lead. You know, and I get the same, you know, the same respect from them in prospective spaces when it's time for me to lead. So it's a beautiful thing.
What happened with the Sesame Street thing? The mascot person that was.
So, yeah, they still have a lawsuit out for that. You know, so they've been fighting against that. I gotta follow up on that, but I know that the team has been found. I've been so focused dealing with this violence and this boycott black murder situation that's been like really my main focus. But you know, I know that we've been in touch with the lawyers. You know, and as certain things happen, they notify us if they need us to come out there and stand with them, or you know, to advocate on their behalf. So we in contact with the lawyers and the people, the victims of it.
It's a political year. I just seen Democrats were trending, said, you know, joblessness is down to 3.7%, the wages are up 4.0%. But anytime a Democrat gets in office, it seems to hurt, the people of color more than help. Is it time that we really focus on Republicans and just not go straight Democrat?
Focus, maybe think about. I mean, keep your mind open to vote for a Republican, maybe.
My thing is this: I'm always gonna vote my interest. I'm not a politician.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a party, right? I really don't have a party. It's just for me is this, and this is just common sense for me. How do I vote for somebody in a party that only has 3 black people, right? And the 3 black people they got don't come from nowhere where I'm from. They don't understand my reality. They don't speak my language. They never been through anything that I've actually been through. So if I'm voting my interest, when I vote for Jamani Williams, Jamani been in the streets with me, right? When I vote for Tish James, Tish been outside.
Can I ask you a question about that before you say that? Because most of us don't even know these people.
I'm talking about me.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but Tish James, because we talking about the black people and we trying to see what they're gonna look at. I know about some of these people because my wife is involved in that, and she'll be the one like, yo, when you go vote for this one, this one, this one, this one. But if it wasn't for her knowing it on some real shit, my son, I wouldn't know nothing.
No, but so that's what I'm saying. And if it wasn't for her knowing, then you would have to make a conscious decision after you listened to what they said and looked at their track, and you actually did some research.
I don't be seeing them. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying, you definitely don't see the Republicans.
I don't see none of them.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So I hear what you're saying. So if you're saying you don't see nobody, you don't see nobody, then what are you basing who you voted for?
They're black or they're Democrat.
Okay, I'm not saying, if you're saying you vote because they're black or Democrat, that's a reason. There's a lot of people that say fuck that. Because in my mind, I'm gonna vote for somebody that's black is in the same position over somebody that's white. Because I done watch white people fail me 1,000 times. Y'all niggas ain't never got, nobody that I voted for in America ever changed my reality. That's just the reality of the situation. I don't give a fuck. We can sit there and have these conversations. Niggas saying what they want. No president, none of these people have changed my reality. I ain't got rich after nobody got out. Only thing niggas say that, Trump gave us stimulus. And that's not even a fact. Niggas don't even understand the reality of what happened with the stimulus checks. The stimulus checks had to be given by the by the government, and Trump actually slowed down the process because he wanted to write his name on it. And Trump is a master marketer and promotion.
He's from New York, my son.
And I get it. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. So it's just like anything else. When I look at Charleston White and I look at Trump, I know what niggas is into. It's just for real.
That's Thor's hammer you just dropped right there.
It's a fact. You just he followed the Trump motto. Trump get up there and say anything. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about any of this. These people over here getting your money. Who cares? I might not know everything, but he's dumber than me. Like this nigga up there talking like a 5-year-old kid, and everybody's is entertaining. So when you entertain, you like, fuck that. He said some real shit. It's just like when Charleston White, he get up there and he say, man, who give a fuck, man? I don't care about these niggas.
Because he was that polarizing, right?
Yes.
We knew every little move he made.
You did.
Yes.
Now we don't know shit.
But the problem with polarizing and knowing every given, when a nigga tell you that he gonna be a dictator the first day he get in office, like that's crazy to me.
It could be crazy, but at least I know his intention.
But the thing is, even if you know his intentions, right? If you know those are his intentions, I'd rather a nigga say, I'm just not gonna vote. Cause it's no way that I'm gonna vote for a nigga to tell.
But
the nigga barely got out of office.
He stole the election.
This is what I'm trying to say.
But hold on. Niggas didn't vote for him, nigga. He stole the election.
He did.
Nigga.
But he's not the first to ever do it.
No,
we saw Bush do it.
Bush did it.
Morgan and the Rockefeller, they paid for elections.
The Republicans been stealing. They've been stealing. That's what they do. Them niggas deep. The problem with it is this. You got the gangsters, right?
Yeah.
These niggas is gangsters. And the thing is, what they saying is this. This is what happens with the Republicans. I'm going to tell you what happens. I'm going to tell you how it goes. We got the Democrats. We vote the Democrats. They come from they like, we want to do this. We want to do this shit for you. We want to do this shit for you. We want to do this for the people. They get in office and they come up with the best bills in the world. Yo, this is gonna change. We got the infrastructure bill. We got this and that. Republicans be like, you think we gonna do that? Y'all niggas can eat a dick. Fuck out of here. They present the bills. They knock them shits all the way down.
But they got
niggas
the
be
house,
sitting there because they got the house. We're not doing
house.
nothing for you niggas. Beat it. When election time come, when they get in office, them niggas take the same bills that they said, fuck y'all, they gut them shits and give you 2% of the bill, right? And say, look what we did for black people. That's what they did with the motherfucking, with the jail, when they let people out of jail, when Trump started the First Step Act bill. The shit, the Obama bill that he wanted to get passed was retroactively going to release every nigga in there with a certain amount of drugs immediately. Like, you was going home, over about 100,000 niggas was leaving jail immediately. Niggas was being restored to their own. Niggas said, we not doing. That nigga literally had to sign over 1,000 pardons. The only president in the history that did it. No, he did more than the last 10 presidents combined. You can look it up. Literally had to sign because they wouldn't pass the shit. He's like, fuck that. I'm gonna sign over 1,000 pardons with my hand. Literally had to sign them shits. So this is what they do. They play this game. We trying to do this. Y'all gonna shoot that down. And then we're going to settle for the 2% because we want them to get something. And the Republicans look what we did for you. They ain't do shit for you. But if they never present that shit, it's like a nigga coming in and saying, yo, look, I got a jacket. You know how much you want to pay for it?
$50.
Like, nah, this shit costs $250. You like, nah, I ain't paying $250. But you want the jacket. Nigga come back and he pays $75 and get it for you. And you feel like, yo, this nigga.
Oh, all right, nigga looked out.
That's the game.
Nigga looked out.
They running the game. And I get it. But the thing is, that's why the Democrats got to be in there. Because if they don't push the envelope, it ain't going to go
We ain't going
open.
to get nothing.
You ain't going to get nothing because they never going to present some shit for us. They never going to do it. And then my man said some real shit before. He said every time the Republicans get in office, they create a scam that niggas can get rich off real quick. You get rich real quick. And then you go to jail like they did with the housing. Like what they did with the housing.
PPP loans.
Right?
PPP loans.
No, the housing is crazy.
Yeah, the housing was.
But then what happened?
The housing is the ill.
And everybody went bankrupt. Niggas started going. They give you a minute. Yo, you hurry up, get you some shit signed, get your shit boom, 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 boom. Now you in the market where niggas is done trying to figure out how they gonna survive. They gotta sell the house.
2 mortgages, the rate then went up to 20.1, and it's in the paperwork that you didn't see and all this other stuff.
Killing you. So them niggas figure out scams. So it's like the good person and the bad. And when you look at it, we live in a society where it's about how much you could get. And Republicans are trying to make themselves more money. And what they do is they create all these scams and all this shit for them. And it's just like when you look at what happened with the you seen that shit, damn, what's the shit called? It's about the pills. The niggas who were selling the pills. I forgot the name of the shit. It's on Netflix.
He probably.
The coding, dope sick. And the other shit is Dope Sick and the other one, but I didn't finish watching Dope Sick, but the other one is the niggas who started selling Oxycontins. They created Oxycontins. Them niggas created the shit.
Out of here.
They created the shit out of one of the family members died. Purdue, it was the Purdue family. Niggas,
Chicken family.
them niggas built the shit, start building, they made Oxycontins, they illegally got the shit passed by the fucking
the Food and Drug Administration, because you only gotta pass it one time.
So they brought the nigga, and they hired the nigga. He made millions, a bunch of millions with
FDA.
After he approved it, after they proved that these niggas, that OxyContin had killed over 500,000 people in the amount of time that they had did it, them niggas only had to pay a fine.
Yep.
That's all they did was pay a fine.
And they chilling.
And niggas addicted, they died. Right till this day, niggas
niggas finished.
All they had to do is pay a fine and go back.
And then if you get caught selling that shit,
they gonna lock you up for 2 million years.
You get caught selling that shit.
So they creating a scam in the game, and we the only one that's
going to jail.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So this shit is all rigged, man. This shit is all rigged.
How do we get? Okay, it's my last question.
Yeah.
How do we get this message out? What's the biggest thing? We doing social media. We got y'all going all over the place. They're not covering y'all on the big news channels. How can we get this word out? Because the streets is everywhere.
The bottom line is we got to be intentional and create our own, bro. Everybody else create their own. And niggas, we don't have the patience.
That's true.
We don't have the patience. Niggas, we in the fucking microwave era. A nigga, these 3 cameras right here could be the biggest fucking next platform in the world, right? But you got to be intentional about it. You gotta do I'm gonna create my own shit. How do we create our own shit? We're gonna build our shit brick by brick. It might, even if it's not big as that, it's our shit. How do we control the message? How do we control how it gets to the people? What do we do? Like my man Isaac Hayes Jr., he got his own fan base, black-owned shit.
I know about that.
Niggas won't go over the fan base.
Because I can't, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I can't access it.
It's lazy work.
I can't access it myself.
Well, then
it's like we get the infrastructure and then we don't take care of it in a way
and make it
can last.
So that's what we need to do. We need to be called Isaac Hayes. We need a meeting with you. The brothers need a meeting with you. And we need to figure out how do we build your shit, because we want to be able to go over there and speak freely.
Yes.
We want to be able to promote the shit that need to be promoted. So black people is building our own infrastructure.
Yes.
So we need to sit down with the people that actually, because even though if you saying it's done, but he got the idea, right?
Yes,
he got the blueprint, he got the foundation of the shit.
Yes, he does.
So why don't we pour into that?
I mean, but he has to be accessible.
But he is accessible. That nigga's on. If you, so listen to me.
All right.
Bring the ratchet in.
But
because that's
really,
they're gonna notice.
I'm not saying don't bring it, because that's the balance of the world, negative and positive. So we can balance. He not cutting nobody from going over there. We just ain't going over there. I'm an investor in the shit and I don't even use it. I'm being honest. So we gotta be intentional. We quick to jump on, such and such said we going on there, let's go over there.
It's easy though, my son.
But sometimes, that's what I just said. We want instant, we want the shit that's easy.
Yeah, I'm making a point. Yeah,
so
exactly.
let's not deal with the shit that's easy. Let's deal with the shit that's most beneficial to us. The shit that's gonna profit us more. The shit that's gonna be more beneficial to us and our kids, that we're building, that we know we got our own shit, that if they decide, we don't like what they saying, we getting rid of that. Nah.
We in trouble.
Nah, because we can't do that. We can't do that, bro. We can't.
Yo.
They wanted to pay, literally, my man, what's his name? Hill Harper.
Yeah.
They told that man they was gonna give a whole nother, the Republicans said to run against the Muslim lady and OC and all these people that they was gonna give him $20 million to his campaign just to run against them. We don't fuck them, we want them out of here.
We just gonna give you the money just
Give you the money.
Just to discombobulate they shit.
Nigga, when they
Breaks them down.
crazy.
Yo.
That's corporate business strategy.
That's what
and they
do.
do it in multiple directions.
And because he was honorable, he like, nah, those are my peoples. I ain't doing that shit.
we need
Fuck
more,
out of here. We
need
don't
more
have
Hill
too
Harper.
many of that. We don't have, shout out to Hill Harper, it's my brother,
Yeah,
man. And we don't have niggas that's willing to stand on something. They can buy us at any, I hear niggas all the time, yo, I'm gonna get my bag. I don't give a fuck about no bag. Nigga, I'm a star before I sell
tell you
my
something.
integrity.
But you know how to get money.
I'm a
See,
old-
That's
niggas,
different,
Mike.
Mike.
See, nigga, I know how to get money too, and I feel that same way. But I've been exposed to other people who don't know how to get money,
nigga-
and that's their detriment.
But even if I didn't know how to get, before I knew how to get money, I wasn't selling out. Right? When I didn't have nothing, and the nigga offered me some shit to do some shit that was against my moral compass, and I didn't know how I was gonna survive, I'm like, I'm not doing that.
That's pride
The
and
fuck are you
standard.
talking- But that's what it takes. It takes standards, my nigga.
Exactly.
We have to establish standards as men. Niggas don't have, when a nigga could tell you, don't matter what he do, these niggas on internet doing all types of shit that go against who they say they are as men, fuck who I think you are. If you say you somebody and you go against that because a nigga paid you, then you ain't who you said you are. That's not man shit. It's never a point where you could give me money to compromise the person that I told you I was as a man, right? Until we start, and those are the type of niggas that we gotta get in position. We gotta get people that have real standards in position, right? And they don't want those type of niggas. They want niggas that they can buy and they can compromise. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. We don't got
Shout
enough
out to my
time.
nigga Kyrie Irving, man.
We don't got
Salute
enough
to
time.
Kyrie Irving. Eh?
BagFuel, like, subscribe, super thanks. We gonna have to do it's so many people we gotta do some part twos with. It's not
Yeah,
enough time in the day.
Yeah.
We gonna have to do a part two. Hill Harper, we invite you to come sit down,
Hill's my
talk to
guy.
us. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about that platform that we had. Let's meet with everybody. Black people, we need to come together.
Isaac Hayes, yeah, come have an interview so y'all can talk about that. Yeah.
Cause we fueling young minds to get to the bag. That's what BagFuel is all about. Legally, we out of here.